Hi, my name is Mike Schilli, and I've been living in San Francisco for about 10 years with my wife, and after such a long time, once in a while you crave German food, and one of my favorite German foods is Wiener Schnitzel, which is, as you Americans might think, not a hamburger chain, but a dish, which is based on veal and breadcrumbs around it, and you fry it in a pan. So it's similar to other dishes. For example, the Japanese tonkatsu is quite the same thing actually, and I guess other cultures have that kind of bread crumbs around meat thing too. Of course, Wiener Schnitzel is typically served with potato salad, and I'm gonna make potato salad as well with my own favorite recipe. So regarding Wiener Schnitzel, there's a very good book out there from, what's the guy's name? Alphonse Schubeck. And he writes about, typical German food, and typically on the heavy side, but you only eat that once in a while, so that's fine. So the book is called Hausmannskost für Feinschmecker. And of course, there's a recipe for Wiener Schnitzel in there, and I have that bookmarked. Here we go. This is how it's gonna look like when it's ready. But the problem, of course, is we're living in America, and there's so many things you can't really get that you can get in Germany. So we will try to put everything together with things that you can get in an American supermarket. We're in San Francisco, so your mileage might vary, but I find it actually not too hard to get all the ingredients that are necessary to do a fantastic Wiener Schnitzel. And here we go. So when it comes to meat, you buy veal in the supermarket, but I found out that at Safeways they have scallopini, which is another variation of Wiener Schnitzel, the Italian kind this time, and it comes in like nice slices, and they're really thinly sliced, exactly how you want your Wiener Schnitzel to be. The package here costs about $11, so it's a pretty good price for really good meat. What else do we need? We need a little bit of heavy whipping cream. Just bought this at the supermarket around the corner, and we only need like a spoon of it, and we're gonna whip this up real quick. This just gives the dough kind of structure around the meat that's made out of the breadcrumbs, a really light texture. And what else do we need? We need eggs. Here you go. 2 of them, and we put them in a plate like this. Whoop. Voila. And we need a little bit of flour, just a regular white flour will do. And we put that into a flat plate as well, because the way it's going to work is that we're going to put the meat in the flour and turn it around a little bit, then make sure there's no extra flour left, then put it through the eggs, and then fry it in a pan. And now I'm gonna whip the whipping cream. That was quick. It was only a little bit, and it's only to give the breadcrumbs that are going to be soaked in the egg a soft structure. Now we're going to put the eggs into the whipping cream and whip that up again. There we go. Now we have a, can you see that? Little sauce to put our veal through before we fry it. Okay, so let's prepare the scallopini. I'm just gonna cut open the package from the supermarket. Oh, these are nice slices of veal. Exactly the right size for scallopini or Wiener Schnitzel. Let's put a little bit of salt on there. Flavor. And a little bit of pepper. Now when it comes to breadcrumbs, you could buy the ready-made ones from the supermarket, or there's even a thing called Progresso, I think it's called. But they don't taste right. I mean, breadcrumbs you have to make yourself from fresh white bread. And I figured out a way to make that even with regular white bread in the US, like this typical bread that you just toast in a toaster oven. So what I'm going to do is toast it in a toaster oven. When it's ready, I'm going to slice it up real quick, and then I'm going to get rid of the rinds and put it into this mixer. And it's going to turn out as some really soft and tasty breadcrumbs. This was the signal from the toaster oven. I'm going to take this out and remove the rinds. We don't want that tough stuff. We just want a little bit of soft bread in the breadcrumbs. I'm going to slice it in smaller slices so the mixer doesn't lock up. There's two settings for the mixer, by the way. One for a sharp blade and one for a blunt blade. And I'm going to use the blunt one for things like bread. So this is a nice little kitchen machine here. And let's see if the setting is correct. It says sharp, so that's the wrong one. Careful that I don't cut myself here. And put that back in. So now it's set to blunt. I'm going to put the bread in. See if we can fit it all in. Yes, we can. And then we're going to grind it. And it's really good. And now we have perfect breadcrumbs. Back to our veal, and we're gonna put that into the flour first, then into the egg mix, and then into the breadcrumbs. A little bit of flour. Make sure there's not too much flour, otherwise it doesn't taste so good. The meat is going to be dominant and the crust is just an add-on. Into the egg mix. Eggs with whipping cream. And into the breadcrumbs. Make sure there's not too much breadcrumbs, and don't press the meat too hard into the breadcrumbs. And here we go. Our first Wiener Schnitzel is ready to be fried. Now when it comes to potato salad, there's a lot of different recipes and everybody prefers their own, so I have my own as well. I like onions in potato salad, but mild onions only. I figured that the Hawaiian sweet onions that you get at Trader Joe are really nice to put into potato salad. So I'm going to chop one of these onions and then sharpen the knife real quick. And start cutting. This has been half an onion, and I'm going to put that into a bowl there. And also I'm going to put some olive oil in there. Maybe 2-3 spoons, something like that. And also a little bit of vinegar. I use this balsamic vinegar, which is a little dark and it makes the potato salad look a little dark, but I like the taste of the balsamic vinegar and I don't mind the discoloration. Let's check the potatoes, and indeed they're ready. So we're going to take them out for the potato salad. Now these are the cooked potatoes, and I'm going to peel them in my very own way. Because I don't like to touch the hot potatoes. That's my way of peeling them. It's important that they're hot because if you put the sauce around the potato salad, you want the potatoes to soak up the sauce a little bit, and they do that best if they're still hot from the boiling water as you took them out of. And then we just chop them up in pieces. Then we're going to heat up the onions a little bit. I've already turned off the heat, so it's just going to be a little bit to take away some of the sharp taste of the onions. This is Trader Joe chicken broth. We just pour a little bit in there because I want a lot of fluid in the potato salad, but we don't want to lard it up with too much olive oil. So I found that chicken broth is really nice. Gets you a juicy potato salad. Okay, here are the cut potatoes, and here is the sauce for the potato salad. We put that into the bowl, and then put the still hot peeled potatoes on it so that they soak up the sauce. Stir it up a little bit. And here is the potato salad. Excellent. For frying things, you want to use Crisco, which is the equivalent to the German Bratwurst. There's a different kind of Crisco for things that you want to have a buttery taste. You can buy it at the same supermarket. It's also called Crisco. It's just called Crisco Sticks Butter Flavor. And you want a fair amount of that. I'd say probably half of that pack needs to go into the pan because you want the Wiener Schnitzel to float in there. We're going to let the fat drip off afterwards, so we're not going to eat the whole thing. But in order to have a nice crust, you need to put a lot of fat in there. The pan is almost ready, and we're going to put our Wiener Schnitzel into the hot fat in here. Okay, temperature's about right. Now we want to make sure that the schnitzel floats in there, and you swirl the pan around a little bit. The Crisco is going to float over it, and it's going to make these nice waves. Also want to make sure that it's not too hot because the schnitzel takes a little while until it's done, and you don't want it to crust to be overcooked during that time. Like this is almost ready. Check on the other side. Temperature a little low. Let's pump it up a little bit. Float it around a little bit. Make some nice waves. And that's it. Take it out of the pan. Put it on some kitchen towel paper. And be ready for the next Wiener Schnitzel, which comes right now. Alright. And gonna make sure it soaks on both sides. And to finish it off, a little bit of lemon makes all the difference. Drip it on there, and you get a nice Wiener Schnitzel. And here we go, a nice meal, and a nice beverage. See you in San Francisco.